try that again. Oh, yeah. What up, y'all? It's your boy, the one and only A Switch, aka the 230, 35, 35 time social distancing champion, aka the buttermilk biscuit bastard, aka put some barbecue sauce on my elbow and lick it real good. Bringing you yet another episode of Switches Sites. Episode 84 to be exact. Today's date is December 11th, 2020. Yeah, I mean, from last episode, my sleep schedule is still just in shambles right now. So you're getting a show early morning, and I'll probably upload it as after I'm done or whatever and all that good stuff. But yeah. So, and then also the Game Awards. I probably would have maybe recorded yesterday if the Game Awards wasn't happening. But you know what? I was like, that's gonna be a big talking point of this show anyway. So I was like, let me postpone the show regardless until today. So there you go. Ideally, probably trying to stick to the Thursday schedule, but we'll see how things go next week and whatnot. But yeah, outside of this anomaly in terms of scheduling, at least expect somewhat the same Thursday rigmarole as you've had before. So yeah, there's that. What else? I mean, it's December, so I mean, that's always good. We almost there. Well, I assume most people are starting to take. This is generally around the time frame people start taking time off and stuff and work and whatnot. So, but either way, yes. So, for those that don't know, Switches Sites podcast is a podcast about gaming and nerd related stuff. So, just in case you didn't know, now you do know. Yeah. So, I mean, the Game Awards, man, that's the biggest probably, news story of the year. Probably yeah, probably afterward is probably gonna be bare pretty slim pickings in terms of topics to talk about. So might do some game of the year stuff personally and things like that. Possibly I'll still figuring that out. But either way, without the dilly dallying, let's stop the dilly dallying though and get right into it. So Game Awards 2020, they took place, they started the pre-show like 3:30 Pacific time. I think technically 6 for people in Eastern, at least though, I guess depending on where you're at, but either way. So they start off the pre-show. I think they had a couple, like, not necessarily huge announcements, but some minor ones. And then they started running off not necessarily relevant. Let me rephrase that. Not some of the smaller awards like esports and stuff like that before the show started. So I do like that format. They did a just overall more truncated, refined, efficient showing, which they technically have been doing the past few years, but at least this year feels more notable nonetheless. So, but yeah, so just to start off, because man, it's a lot to decompress and dissect from this show. From the winners as well as the announcements, because there's a lot of announcements as well as some notable winners. Some not really so surprising. I don't even think there really was anything that was too surprising for me. But either way, just to get a recap, especially for myself as well, because I think mentally I was just more focused on the announcements than awards, but the awards did stand out, some of them as well. So I say we will start off firstly with covering the awards, the winners. So let's build it all the way up. So esports team G2 Sports. This is probably yeah, G2 Sports. I have no clue who they are. Esports host Efe Sejoks. They pronounced it differently, so I know I butchered that. I'm so sorry. Esports game League of Legends. I mean, that's one thing about the Game Awards that I'm kind of, what's the word, indifferent about, in terms of like winners versus losers, or what qualifies. Like, obviously League of Legends is like what, a 20, no, probably like a 15, like a 10-year-old game. I guess you could say the same technically for Counter-Strike. um yeah, like what consist constitutes that to be, I don't know. Either way, I mean, League of Legends won. I mean, I know for a lot of people that I've, at least somebody from the outside looking in at that, they highly praise League of Legends in terms of the competitive nature of it. So I mean, based off that, it deserves it. But it's like, how many times can it take this award? I feel like there needs to be some regulation there, or maybe there is some that we aren't aware of. But either way, there you go. Esports event League of Legends World Championship 2020. Esports coach Danny Zonic Sorensen. Esports athlete Hyo Showmaker Su. Content creator of the year Valkyrie. Multiplayer game Among Us, and that this is probably another, I don't know, topic for debate, where you have Among Us, which is technically a game that came out 2 years ago. So based off those grounds, it technically shouldn't qualify, but due to its like insane popularity this year, it got included. So again, it's some weird gray exception areas that is just weird, that technically this game shouldn't be allowed, based on the grounds that all of the games, at least what's generally our knowledge, is that the game has to have come out in this year, or the cutoff for the Game Awards, which I think it's like late November or something like that. So yeah, that's, I'm just very, what's the word, indifferent about Among Us winning based on those grounds specifically. Otherwise, it totally does deserve it, but it's just weird that Among Us, which is a game that came out 2 years ago, is winning multiplayer game of this year, which I guess obviously you can argue that because of the increased surge of popularity this year, that would, allow that. So, best sports racing game, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2, which I didn't catch that one. So that's good on Tony Hawk. That's probably technically the only sports game I've played this year. So, and it's damn good. So I totally agree with that. Sim strategy game, Microsoft Flight Simulator. Interesting. I mean, I understand it though. That's a beefy game in general. Family game, aka best Nintendo game, really. Cause let's see. Let me check for this one. Let's check the nominees real quick. So you have Animal Crossing, Crash Bandicoot 4, Fall Guys, Mario Kart Live Home Circuit, Minecraft Dungeons, Paper Mario Origami King. So they did a little bit of a better job this year compared to the previous years. I know the previous years it was basically best Nintendo game essentially. But at least this year, yeah, it's definitely more diversity. A lot of multi-platform games, Crash Bandicoot 4, Fall Guys. So that's good. Best fighting game, Mortal Kombat 11. I think out of all of these, it definitely deserves it, at least in terms of the most notoriety, as well as just the great like spectacle of the guest characters they have put in the game, which I guess in this case doesn't isn't a sound qualifier to base this award off, but either way, I mean, I think in terms of just the most popular and um, generally pretty sound gameplay design and stuff like that, I think it's a pretty good pick. Compared to some of the other games which are more, I don't know, maybe too niche. Um, yeah. So best RPG, Final Fantasy VII Remake. Um, Kind of slightly disappointing. Yakuza Like a Dragon didn't make it, but at the same time, in like my own personal agenda type deal, I kind of didn't want it to win because then that would encourage Ryuga Gotoku Studios to then keep making like a Yakuza a turn-based RPG rather than a standard beat 'em up, which personally I still prefer. But hey, it kind of worked out. But I mean, at the same time, it's the first time it's ever gotten nominated in general. So there's that. Then there was a nominee wise Genshin Impact, Persona 5 Royale, and Wasteland 3. So best action adventure game, Last of Us Part 2. Um, There it was competing against Assassin's Creed, Valhalla, Ghost of Tsushima, Spider-Man Miles Morales, Ori and Will o' Wisp, Star Wars, Jedi Fallen Order. Yeah, I kind of agree with that. I'd say that it. I mean, Ghost of Tsushima is really good, but I wouldn't put it as game of the year. It's really up there, but not game of the year, or I guess best action adventure game. So action game, Hades won. Streets of Rage 4 was robbed. That was one of the nominees. Neo 2, Half Life Alyx, and Doom Eternal were the others. But Streets of Rage 4 was robbed. At least it got nominated though, so that's good. Innovation and accessibility. Last of Us Part 2 won that, which it definitely deserved. It had a crazy amount of accessibility options that I've never seen in the game before. Like I was talking on Twitter about, but yeah, it's like you could literally play the game in slow motion, like throughout the whole game for people that have disabilities in those areas and things like that. It's hard to even remember all the crazy amount of options you had, but it was definitely the most impressive amount of accessibility I've seen in a game for sure. Um, that I've at least come across personally. Best VR AR game, which I have no knowledge of, Half Life Alyx. So there you go, man. With that, and I'm gonna need to dip in at some point. I'm curious of the nominees: Iron Man, VR, Star Wars Squadrons, Walking Dead, Saints and Sinners, Dreams. Best community support: Fall Guys, Ultimate Knockout. Um, like I get community support where it's like support of ongoing, well, essentially an ongoing game. Um, I'm curious what are the parameters to, I don't know. I guess just involvement with the community. I think based off that, then yeah, I guess I would agree. They did win. Best mobile game, Among Us won that. Um, I'm curious. Maybe this Among Us, did it recently come out on mobile? But I think again it was on mobile as well for a while also. Best debut indie game, Phasmophobia. Best indie game, Hades. So Hades, I know a lot of people praise the hell out of Hades. I've still yet to play it. see what all that fuss is about. But at least Hades got some licks in. On best ongoing game, No Man's Sky. At least from what I've heard, I've never played it, but I hear it's gotten a lot of support in general. Like especially initially due to all the controversy about claiming the game is multiplayer, but never seen anybody to play with, and you're in the same exact area and stuff like that. Games for Impact, Tell Me Why. Best performance, Laura Bailey as Abby. The Last was Part 2. So, um, I agree. She did a good job as the character, even though I disliked her for what she did in the game, which I won't spoil. But I agree. I understand that. Best audio design, Last was Part 2. I guess Resident Evil 3 could have maybe took that, but then again, it's like I still have some issues with Resident Evil 3 in general. But best score music, Final Fantasy 7 remake. I totally agree with that. That had immaculate musical score. Best art direction, Ghost of Tsushima. Totally deserves it. Man, just the graphical fidelity of that game is just impressive. It was on PS4, but it looked like a PS5 game. So that's when it looks looking really good in the art direction department. That's the narrative. Last was Part 2. Pretty much disagree. But I'm kind of indifferent about it now. I feel like and what I've been wanting to do is replay the game to like solidify my feelings on it, because I'm just very indifferent about The Last was Part 2 currently. At least from playing before. I was holding out to see if there was going to be a PS5 patch or something that'll make the game run better overall, but at least as of so far, it does not seem to be the case. Most anticipated game, Elden Ring. I'm surprised the nominees God of War sequel. That's valid. Horizon Forbidden West, Halo Infinite. I mean, Halo Infinite, I think it lost, especially after the recent announcement of which we'll talk about later. Resident Evil Village, Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild sequel. I'm surprised Legend of Zelda got beat by Elden Ring. I don't know. I guess maybe. Yeah, I'm curious if this is fan voted or public. I don't know. Best game direction, Last was Part 2. Game of the year, Last was Part 2. So damn, I think this game took like six awards. If you count like the performance ones and stuff, maybe 6, 7. So Last was Part 2, making a killing everyone in this show. I enjoyed it, but I'm just very indifferent about the story. That's why I have a hard time saying it's the game of the year, but I need to think about it more, I feel. It's like I'm indifferent about it, but I really need to, I think, after some time away, play it again to get more perspective on it. But all in all, hey, those are your winners. Clearly, Streets of Rage 4 is missing from that. But you know what? Hey, I'm not even gonna stress it. Not even gonna stress it. So, after that, moving on, probably the more interesting aspect of the show, of course, is them game announcements. And boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, it is a lot. It was surprisingly a lot of announcements overall, not including like brand new, like world premiere announcements and stuff like that. So, yeah, it's a lot. So let's try to go through pretty much majority of them. Ones that stand out at least. Near Replicant, that was pretty good. They showed a pretty hefty gameplay trailer for Near Replicant. I noticed a couple of changes from the original version, like enemy layouts, and but all in all, it looks really good. Looking really good. probably I'd say probably the biggest. Yeah, I'd say probably the biggest announcement was out of nowhere. Jeff just started it off right before the show started. Sephiroth is the next Smash DLC character. That is, that's crazy for a lot of reasons. I say firstly is because considering Cloud being in the game, um yeah, considering Cloud in the game, and how it seemed like Square Enix was very stingy with a lot of the additions to that game in regards to, like, I guess mainly music and costumes. So that, at least that led a lot of us, I would assume, to believe that maybe the odds aren't as great that another Square Enix character would be included in the game, and sure enough, that was not the case. So, yeah, Sephiroth in that trailer was pretty funny in a lot of for a lot of accounts. But Sephiroth, in terms of the trailer starting out, Sephiroth just cutting the I don't even know what you call them, the hands of God or whatever, just cutting through it all. And I mean, when you think about that, you initially possibly think maybe Virgil, but either way, pretty quick we found out, oh shit, Sephiroth descends into battle. And yeah. So showed that then they show freaking Mario, at least a silhouette of him, his ass getting stabbed by Sephiroth, which is just funny in a lot of ways. But then they fake you out. It's like, he just caught his overall. So then fucking when they Cloud started fighting Sephiroth, and it's a little cool like Easter egg that if you could easily miss it if you aren't paying attention, but Mario just gets his ass knocked out of the frame, and it's like, no, this is between us. Um, all the memes and stuff I was seeing after that was pretty funny. Like the freaking reactions of Cloud when he hears Sephiroth's when he hears One Winged Angel, which is pretty damn hilarious, man. Oh man, internet is undefeated in a lot of aspects when it comes to new announcements. That was great. Wouldn't be my number one pick, but I'm totally fine with that. I love Sephiroth as a villain and character, so yeah, being able to play him in Smash. Oh, you bet your bottom biscuit I will. You bet it. And on top of that, he's coming this month. So before the end of this month, I assume maybe within the next couple weeks or so. I would assume before Christmas. So that's pretty cool. Normally, like they'll announce the character. Normally, it's like a month or two before they release. So that's pretty dope. Curious of the if they're gonna be very again strict in terms of like similar to Cloud in terms of costume choices and things like that, and how strict Square Enix seems to be with their IP in that regard. So, also a cool little Easter egg, which seems like that's gonna be in the game, is that if Cloud does a final smash on Sephiroth, I think it's a unique smash compared to any other opponents. So that's pretty cool. And then of course I think what I feel like most everybody speculates after a new character reveal is how is Kirby gonna act when he absorbs him. So you saw like a mass amount of Kirby Sephiroth memes and stuff like that, which is pretty great all around. So all in all, very satisfied with this and this character. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna be playing him, messing with him when he drops. But yeah, I mean he's not no Billy and Jimmy Lee Double Dragon or Battletoads wanted Axel from Streets of Rage, but you know what? I'm fine with it. We got 3 more slots left of characters. We'll see what happens after that. Then, just with the consistency, Perfect Dark was officially announced as well at the Game Awards. So we got a little CG trailer of Perfect freaking Dark coming back. We'll pretend Zero didn't happen, but I mean, it could happen. Actually, it was decent. It wasn't horrible, but it was decent. It was just disappointing from the caliber that Perfect Dark once was. So this was rumored a while ago, but it's good now. We got confirmation that it is for sure in the works by the Initiative, which was the rumor initially as well. So new Perfect Dark. I believe there was a couple of details regarding it, at least in a follow up interview of it. I think they said it was going to be very similar to what you would call it. Very similar to Deus Ex in a sense in terms of the espionage aspect. You know, kind of like 007, which technically as since it's a spiritual successor to it was at least the first game was a spiritual successor to 007 since they couldn't get the license in for a second game, I believe. So at least it was an interview I guess recently. There would be espionage, reconnaissance, tricking people, getting to places unseen, gadgets, wild guns, that's my favorite aspect of the game. Female lead character, female secret agent, world corporate crime, eco sci-fi, ecological disaster on a global scale. Corporations came in. Blockbuster secret agent vision. What's a secret agent? It's also something we have to treat very carefully. Okay. Yeah, so essentially what Perfect Dark has been, or has been at least from the previous game. So good to know. Good to get that reassurance, you know? It's good to get that reassurance. And man, this shit, wow, my goodness. They just kept coming with these announcements. Back for Blood. Actually they revealed trailer and gameplay. So for those that may not know, Back for Blood is a spiritual successor to the Left 4 Dead franchise. I guess whatever disagreements they disbanded from Valve, and now they're on their own making Back for Blood, which is it's a pretty cool play on words and a reference to Left 4 Dead. It's a literal direct reference to Left 4 Dead, which is pretty dope. So I know the game was announced a while back, but it was a while until we heard about it. I think maybe 2 years or so, I believe. But either way, we finally got gameplay in the trailer. So you definitely see a lot of obvious inspirations from Left 4 Dead in terms of just the overall the gameplay. Again, it's four characters, at least what the trailer and gameplay implies. 4 characters, and zombies, traditionally like Left 4 Dead fashion, and then these abnormal monsters where essentially playing the roles of like the hunter, walker, spitter, and all the various Left 4 Dead enemies there. So they look like knockoffs of those monsters, but at the same time they're kind of unique in their own thing. Then they had this huge monster, which I guess maybe possibly is the equivalent of a tank from Left 4 Dead, but it was like way bigger, like giant in size. So it's going to be pretty interesting to see how that plays out. And then you saw some aspects of the weapons where it seems like they possibly might be customizable, which Left 4 Dead hasn't done before. Pretty much all the weapons were default in terms of like there wasn't any room for customization, but maybe that could still be the case. But it was weird that the gun looked like it was it seemed like there was an implication that it was customizable, just going based off the fact that there was a red dot on the one gun they showed in the gameplay. But Again, that could just be, again, a default gun that just has that on it, but who knows? So would like would like to see if um you know what they do different to Left 4 Dead to maybe further um kind of improve on what they did previously with the first two games of Left 4 Dead. So all in all, it looked really good. Graphically looks good. I like the increased communication now. It seems like the characters are communicating more than they did in Left 4 Dead. But then that's just a minor observation that it could totally be irrelevant. But yeah. Interesting one was Hood Outlaws and Legends. It looks like Assassin's Creed and For Honor. That's probably the best, I guess, comparison where it's like you get the stealthy kind ofness of Assassin's Creed along with the brutalness of For Honor in terms of just the intense gore and like graphic like uh uh you know killing of enemies and stuff. So that looked kind of dope. Another big one, the Callisto Protocol. At first, I was like, no, this is not Dead Space. No, it's not. And it was close because it actually is by the same devs that made Dead Space. But it basically is roughly in the same genre, sci-fi horror, which is I'm actually very interested in to see how that's gonna play out. But I would assume it's somewhat close. A lot of references to Dead Space, so definitely keeping that on the radar. Warhammer 40,000 Dark Tide, that was looking pretty good based off that gameplay. Um, oh yeah, there was a lot of Game Pass announcements. Interesting one, Among Us, specifically for PC, not console Game Pass. And then one of the best. Finally, we hear news. Yakuza 3 through 6 is coming to Game Pass, and also it's coming to Steam, Windows Store, and yeah, no, those were the only ones. So that's pretty dope. So pretty much soon you'll be able to play the whole Kiryu collection of Yakuza. So you have no excuse. It's free. I mean, if you got Game Pass, so you just get Game Pass and play it because Yakuza is great. You're doing yourself a disservice. I'm just saying. Um, so yeah. Doom Eternal, which we knew about. Um, that was pretty it in terms of just the standout games coming to Game Pass, at least for me, that got my attention. Um, Disco Elysium, Elysium, the final cut. Um, I believe they are adding VO to all the dialogue, which that's pretty big in of itself. There was something else. There was something else. I think that was the biggest part. Um, yeah, that was the big notable part, and it's a free upgrade if you have the original version, which I was mad when I was seeing the trail. I'm like, son of a bitch! I just freaking just bought this Elysium. They just had a recent game of the year game award sale, which I guess maybe previous and current games nominated were at a discount. I'm like, you know what? I've been hearing a lot of good stuff about this game. It seems like something I would get into, and I was like, yeah, let me try it out. And yeah, sure enough, it was like Disco Elysium, the final cut. And I'm like, oh, do I gotta buy it again? But no, they said it's a free upgrade for existing people. Also, it's coming to console as well. I believe PS5 first, and then later I think Switch and Xbox. I want to say so. I'm not sure about PC. I would assume PC will be along with PS5 when that drops as well. So, Dragon Age, which I know some people are excited for. I've not ever gotten into that series. Um, that stands out. Oh yeah, Warframe getting Unreal Tournament DLC. That's just interesting. I think we got a new trailer for Black Ops Cold War and Warzone, which is pretty dope. Had a new character who I guess has a vendetta for I believe his name is Adler from the single player story. So that's interesting. Arc 2 just is weird all around. So Arc 2 had a reveal trailer with Vin Diesel. I can't even do his voice. His voice is so distinct and like unique. I was just trying to. We gotta get our home. I don't. It's just way more gravelly than mine, so I can't even. I can't even do it. Yeah, that's just. It was weird. It's weird, like seeing Vin Diesel in out of his like traditional element. You know, like how some characters are just typecasted. Where in this case, Vin Diesel would just seem like he was out of place as a freaking tribal, man. But hey, I thought at first it was a Horizon Zero Dawn trailer or something, but nope, Arc 2. Shouts out to some of the media that's making jokes. The one guy from Giant Bomb, in fact, he was like the Past and the Furious. I'm like, I gotta give you praise for that. Somebody else, what was it? Somebody from GameSpot. They said, what was it? Damn it, let me look it up real quick because it's relevant. because it's relevant. Only because. Oh yeah, Horizon Diesel Dawn. It's so stupid, but I'm like, God, that's good. It's good. It's stupid but good at the same time. So there was that. I've never played Arc, the first one, so I have no clue what that game implies. They also did announce that Arc, the animated series, that I'm assuming is going to supplement the Arc 2 game to some extent. Fall Guys Season 3 was announced as well. Seems to be a lot of Christmas themed stuff, at least for this season, it seems like. Ash Williams coming back in Evil Dead the game. Groovy. So there was that. I'm not a big Evil Dead fan, but that definitely piqued my interest in trying it out for sure. So oh yeah, Ghosts and Goblins Resurrection. So Ghosts and Goblins is being remade in this weird, like, I get like a weird Tim Burton vibe where it's like the characters are like puppet like, if that makes sense, like a puppet kind of motion, if that makes sense. Hopefully I'm conveying what that means, but either way, that seems to be the direction they're going into. At least initially I like it, but I think after some time it might get old, but I don't know, we'll see. So and supposedly that was made in the RE engine, but I don't see how the RE engine helps that type of game. But either way, apparently it's in the RE engine, but we may find out more about it. But it's coming soon though. I think February, March, I want to say. Yeah, at least a lot of the games I've seen so far, they're coming in March. So March is about to be a pretty packed month, it seems like. And then that was announced alongside Capcom Arcade Stadium, which I guess is it seems like it's one of those games that it'll give you like a couple games to start off from Capcom's arcade backlog, but then any other ones that you want specifically, you have to buy them separately or something like that, I believe. At least that's what was implied, at least. Microsoft Flight Simulator coming to Xbox Series X S in summer 2021. They did show a new trailer for Returnal. It's kind of messed up. They like, I think for a lot of people, we thought it was Silent Hills because they just did a really weird fake out of opening the door that looked like Silent Hills to some extent, but that was not the case. It was a Returnal. So gameplay wise, it looks unique. Definitely looks like something I would play. So we'll see. We'll see. They announced a new character for Rogue Company. Outriders. I think they showed just a new trailer. They didn't necessarily show any gameplay. Oh yeah, Joseph Ferris, the infamous guy from the Game Awards previously, aka fuck the Oscars. The drunk belligerent guy that was actually coincidentally a developer for their new game at the time, which was A Way Out. But the new game, It Takes Two, which basically seems like a married couple that somehow got transformed into puppets, and now they're trying to, I guess, presumably figure out how to not be puppets anymore. But it definitely is still continuing the co-op focused angle, which is definitely a pretty. I mean, A Way Out was pretty good. I did enjoy it, so it totally makes sense. But this is more kind of a Disney. It feels Disney slash, family friendly vibe to it compared to A Way Out, which was more gritty and like mature. So I don't know. Doesn't seem like, didn't really speak to me at least, but I don't know if I was playing, one night I was bored, wanted to play with somebody maybe. But it's weird. It seems like it implies it's for like couples or like playing with your girlfriend or boyfriend or something like that. Elder Scrolls Online, it doesn't matter because it's not Elder Scrolls 6. I'm sorry if I hurt anybody else really Elder Scrolls Online fan. I'm so sorry. Monster Hunter Rise. They showed a little bit of a new trailer. They showed some a couple new monsters which look pretty dope. And they also revealed that there's going to be a demo in January, I believe. So pretty awesome. Evil West, which is a weird. I feel like this. There's got to be a term for this, where it's like it's initially the Wild West, but like technical Wild West or futuristic Wild West. It feels like where the dude looked like a traditional, cowboy, but then he has this. They revealed he has this like weird gauntlet on his arm that like surges electricity or something like that. I mean, based off that alone, I am interested. I ain't gonna lie, but just weird. That seems to be like a theme I'm starting to see more and more now. They also revealed the Scarlet Nexus, which is basically the new game from I think Bandai Namco, where it's like it's actually they didn't really reveal too much actually from a gameplay standpoint. At first, I thought it was what was it? I thought it was Damon Ex Machina or something like that, but it wasn't. I am up because I am up. That's that's the best I can tell you. I don't know how to dice it any other way. Um, Among Us, they showed a new airship map. It looks totally different than like traditional Among Us gameplay, where they added a couple new interesting like I guess interesting I don't know factors of the map where like you can go down ladders, you can choose where to spawn after a meeting discussion, which is interesting. So it seems like it's like a whole new update in a map. But I assume just that map, and then like the previous maps will be the same, or who knows? They might add those like updates to the other maps. Who knows? Looks like those rumors were true with Master Chief being in Fortnite, because they did drop that with some weird like red versus blue cameo type thing, which was just weird. You know, got Ninja talking to red versus blue people about Master Chief. I guess there's going to be a map that you can essentially play Halo in Fortnite, which is just weird in of itself, but okay. Yeah. And then on top of that, they freaking announced Michonne and Daryl Dixon from Walking Dead as well. So it's like at this point, it's like who is not in Fortnite, you know? Who isn't in Fortnite at this point? It's like everybody and their mama is in Fortnite, which I don't understand, but whatever. Yeah, that's gonna be interesting. The spawn locations for Among Us are gonna be gonna gonna be interesting to spice the gameplay up, I think, for sure. Um oh yeah, I guess some musical artists for Rocket League season 2. I ain't gonna lie, that music was jamming. I was bopping my head to it. I am not gonna lie to y'all. Um Just Cause Mobile, which is I all right, okay, I guess. But you know, hey, there's if you're into that, if you only have a mobile phone, there you go. Fallout 76, there's a trailer for new DLC as well. Um oh yeah, Medal Honor Above and Beyond, the the VR game that is gonna kill your hard drive. 300 gigabytes for that. That seemed pretty cool. If I were to get VR, I would definitely those be one of the games I'd get. The VR is getting more and more tempting. At some point, I will dive in, but I forgot there was one really dope game. I think I missed it. It looked like it was like a mix between what was it? It was a mix between Dragon's Dogma, Dragon's Dogma and Assassin's Creed, kind of. Yeah, that's probably the best mix I could think of between all of those, and it was looking real good. It was something pariah something. What was it? Let me refer real quick. It was called. It was made. It's made by a Korean development team, and it looked the cutscenes look good, and what was it? What was it? Scrolling through all these Sephiroth and Smash memes are just really great. Pearl Abyss. Yeah, I think yeah, Crimson Desert, Pearl Abyss. Yeah. I didn't know that. I did not know that Black Desert. Okay, that makes sense. Well, even though I've not played that, but yeah, that game was looking really awesome. That definitely for sure put it on my radar. For sure. Then the last announcement was Mass Effect will continue. So that's a confirmed sequel. Mass Effect subtitle will continue. It's like all right, even though I think they already announced that or revealed that. So, I mean, for the hardcore fans, maybe that was really I don't know assuring, but you got Liara. She's like looking, and I think you saw like Rex. I think in a couple of the main squad in the background. I want to say, um, yeah. I mean, yeah. I don't know. uh I was talking about it on Twitter, but I think my issue is that due to the recent departures at BioWare, mainly the people that were working on this game, I believe, it's I'm a little cautiously optimistic at this point. I'm a pretty decent Mass Effect fan. I played through the whole trilogy and I did enjoy it. We're just not going to talk about Andromeda that didn't exist. I think I think EA themselves pretend that game doesn't exist. So um, we'll see. I don't know. I would have liked something more substantial, I guess, than just Liara looking at something. And Mass Effect will continue. When though? Will continue in 2030. Like, oh, we're in the same time that Mass Effect is in now, or whatever. I'm totally BSing, but you know. So yeah, all in all, just a recap of the Game Awards. I think it was a really awesome show this year. The pacing was really good. I think the game announcements really spoke to me. Like a good majority of the games really spoke to me in terms of like games that I did want to play for sure. Probably the biggest highlights, of course, Sephiroth, Perfect Dark, and Back for Blood. That looking really good, looking really scrumptious. So, the Callisto Protocol, that looks pretty dope. It's like so many games that like it's hard to like pick just one, But all in all, very satisfied. I mean, there were some missing ones that I think a lot of us were speculating might be there. Did not see anything for Elden Ring. Didn't see any no Silent Hill remake, reboot, whatever. Maybe still Silent Hills. We still don't know that yet. Didn't see anything regarding the rumored Metal Gear remake by Blue Point Games. But you know what? Beggars can't be choosers, Gonna take what we can get. But, there's still more time. But yeah, a lot of those rumors have been spreading around. But a lot of people were speculating that it would be at the Game Awards, but at least after the fact, that does not seem to be the case. But hey, it's fine. We didn't see anything regarding that Ninja Gaiden Sigma collection, which I thought that was going to be like a for sure shut in. That I thought he was going to be the next character in Smash. They would announce the Ninja Gaiden Sigma collection, because I believe Switch was one of the platforms, if not the only platform. And then they will reveal Ryu Hayabusa for Smash or whatever. But you know what? I'm fine. I'll take Sephiroth. I mean, yet another sword character DLC, a sword character in Smash. But you know what? It's like, it's fine. It's Sephiroth though. It's Sephiroth though. It's like, it's a sword character, but it's Sephiroth though. So yeah, take what you could get. Well, there you go. So that was the Game Awards in a nutshell. Again, shouts out to Jeff Keighley. I know this show was probably a nightmare to freaking organize and orchestrate under, these trying times, trying weird, unprecedented times we're in currently. So, yeah. Moving on, and more depressing news, at least for me as a fan. Halo Infinite delayed to fall 2021. It hurts. It hurts a lot. It hurts too. It really hurt. It really hurts. Yeah, I mean, considering the initial trailer for Halo Infinite, that obviously a lot of people did not enjoy. Yeah, it was a little rough. Good old Craig. Good old Craig got his fame infamously, based off that. So I mean, yeah, I guess what was really concerning though is that considering all the promotional stuff and Monster Energy and Doritos and all these companies, giving you DLC and stuff for it and whatnot, that they were really dead set on this coming out at the launch of the Series X, which is, when you think about it, it's kind of somewhat concerning, because it's man, we probably would have got a horrible game, and that would have totally like tarnished Halo yet again. The Halo legacy. Halo 5 is good in a lot of ways. I'd say single player is not one of them, but I really did enjoy multiplayer. But yeah, it was a good call either way. I mean, I'm all for delays. Um, all for delays. As long as it makes a game better. Which at least in this case, yeah, it's longer than expected, but it's a pretty good series. You really need to get into it. It's really good. It's really good. It's really good. You got the Halo Master Chief Collection. It is on PC too. I forgot. So there's no excuse. I'm just saying. But yeah, man, that hurts. That hurts a lot. But I mean, at least I have Halo Master Chief Collection to hold me over until this comes out. And who knows? I know they talked and invited the idea that um Halo may be Halo may they could do a segmented model where like they'll release multiplayer separately, and then maybe the single player may come later down the line or something like that, possibly, maybe. But they did say that they were possibly looking into that idea. So who knows? We might get Halo Infinite multiplayer sooner, and then maybe they might release the campaign later or whatnot. But all in all, I mean, whatever time they need to take it. I know, like I think the recent developer they from Bungie, they wanted to look like oversee this Halo specifically. He left recently, so it's like it makes you think like what's really going on there, what's causing all these issues. But the outside looking in. But at least from their newsletter, they seem to be very transparent about like what the issues they're coming across and what they're working on and stuff like that. So who knows? Who knows? It still hurts, but you know what? Take your time. Take your time. 343. It will be here for you. Halo 3. I mean, I just got a Series X for nothing. Nah, they told us. We already knew this before, but it is like a little stab in the heart where you got Halo, you got Master Chief on the promotional artwork on the back of the Series X, and then if you pre-ordered Halo Infinite from Best Buy, they sent out, which is kind of it's kind of hurtful in a sense where if you pre-ordered Halo Infinite from Best Buy, they had a action figure or my bad, a statue that I guess was supposed to come with the game, but since the game got delayed, they just sent you the statue. So now you just got this statue and no game to come with it anytime soon. So you're like, oh, okay, all right, I got this. All right, I'm just gonna marvel over this Master Chief statue until Halo Infinite comes out a whole year from now. But okay, it's fine. It's okay. So hurting, 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 Rachel. I am hurting. Pain, pain, pain. That's all it is. Just pain. Moving on. Some pretty revelatory news. Max Payne. Well, I do love Max Payne, but no, just pain, just pain. Oscar Isaac has been cast to be Solid Snake in the Metal Gear Solid movie. I think he is a perfect candidate for Metal Solid Snake for sure. So at least considering all the gears that have been going on in the background, at least from what we know so far, from like I think Jordan Vogt Roberts in Metal Gear, who's going to be the director of this movie. Just the fact that he's been communicating closely, at least seems somewhat pretty often with Hideo Kojima himself. I think he was a cameo in the Death Stranding game as well. Um, Definitely gives me a lot of confidence in this movie gonna being real good, or at least if at the very least being faithful to the Metal Gear Solid series as a whole. So um, yeah, it's a really good pick. It's a really good pick. I think what's funny too. I think in an interview he's like talking about like if it was something like if he wanted to do a movie or if he were to be in a Metal Gear movie or something, who he would want to be or something like that. And he's like Solid Snake. So he clearly has some knowledge of the series as a whole and whatnot. But thank you, Boss Logic, for putting that in the universe with all his dope fan art and stuff and mock-ups and putting him as Solid Snake. But he does look good. So who knows? It definitely gives me more confidence in this movie actually being pretty good, but we'll see. But I think my biggest issue with video game movies is I feel like um, the directors either one or two things: either they don't care about the material themselves, or aren't necessarily a fan of the material, which those are both like issues in of themselves, or they just don't care about the original material of the games and stuff and just decide to neglect it and just say fuck it and just do their own thing and think it's going to be good enough, which is never the case. A la Monster Hunter movie. Like whose whose bright ass idea is to do that Chinese joke? Ugh. But you know what? Let me stop because I'm gonna rant. I don't want to rant because I'm just gonna throw shit in the room, which I don't feel like doing. So, but all in all, very solid pick. Yeah, I'm just very curious to see. Man, when we see that first trailer is gonna be very pivotal for sure. It's gonna determine everything. So we'll see. But at least that so far now, it definitely is making me more confident in this movie potentially being pretty good. So moving on. Cyberpunk 2077. So this is just man, it's weird. How can this happen? But apparently for people who play Cyberpunk 2077, hopefully you don't aren't epileptic because apparently there's a lot of scenarios in the game that could potentially cause epilepsy based on those triggers for those sensitive in that sense. And yeah, so that's the case with Cyberpunk 2077, that it could cause epileptic episodes. Apparently this is in the UELA, end user licensing agreement, which nobody ever reads. So that's no, not really good. You should probably put that before the game starts. So I believe recently they patched that in where there is a warning about the cause of epileptic seizures and stuff. So that's good. That's just man, that's that sounds like a big no-no for people that are sensitive to that. But you know what? Hey. So just a PSA for those that may be sensitive to epileptic seizures. It's tough. Yeah. Yeah. I've yet to play Cyberpunk, but yeah, that just sounds like a big no-no. That just sounds like a legal lawsuit waiting to happen. But considering the supposed success of Cyberpunk, it is good to see that well, I mean, one they will probably be able to pay for it, but still that's still horrible in a lot of fronts. So either way, moving on, Gears 5, they dropped this single player DLC trailer, or technically co-op, but called Hivebusters. So it's 3-player co-op, split screen, or online. So it's basically the I forgot, is it called Hivebusters? it's basically a dedicated mode in Gears where it's not horde, but it's somewhat, no, it's not really horde, where it's basically you're trying to escape. You get, I guess, how you start to go into the hive, you get abducted by these monsters that basically specialize in abducting people, and I guess ultimately converting them to locusts. But in this scenario, that mode you would get captured, and then you're supposed to destroy the base you're captured in, and then escape. Oh, I think it's called escape actually. Yeah, I think it's called escape. But either way, there is generally three main characters of that mode, which seem to be the main characters in this DLC. So, um, roughly a 3 hour campaign set in the volcanic Galangi Islands. Um, I think it was pretty dope though. It was a lot of cool, interesting tidbits in the trailer. You saw, I guess, Cole Train runs a whole grain baby. Woo. Cole's daughter in the game. It seems like at least what people are speculating. And then you see Colonel Hoffman as well. He's in a wheelchair now, so that's interesting. So at least for a Gears fan like me, I'm definitely excited for that. Of course, it will have the Xbox Series XS optimizations and all that good stuff. With $20 standalone, but it is free if you have Xbox Game Pass as well. So all in all, that's really good. It's coming out December 15th as well. So I mean, this back catalog is getting big. It's getting real big. It's like literally a lot of shit is coming out December 15th. Oh boy, man, it's gonna be a busy ass fucking Christmas. Let me tell you. Oh man. But hey, first world problems. Am I right? Am I right? Last topic as well. Freaking. Of course, Disney wanted to drop all this while the Game Awards was going on, which I wasn't even paying attention to. But Disney had their, I guess, what they call Investor Day, which is a little weird. You feel like Disney would be less transparent about that, but either way, they did. And boy, they was dropping some heat. So at least for Marvel specifically, a huge onslaught of trailers from Marvel. WandaVision, they showed a trailer for WandaVision. They showed the trailer for The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. They showed a trailer for Loki. What If, which was a pretty cool like what if scenario for like it seems like one-off episodes of What If. Like I think they showed if Peggy Carter was Captain America or something like that. It seems to be that kind of, I guess, direction they're potentially going. Some news like Ironheart, which is set to star Dominic Thorne as Riri Williams. Armor Wars, which is supposedly gonna be star Don Cheadle. It's a lot. It's too it's too much. It's like almost an overwhelming amount of like news they dropped. Jesus. Yeah. There's gonna be a freaking Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special on in 2022. It's like it's weird for specific for a holiday special, but I mean, all right. Yeah. So I Am Groot, a series of short films starring Groot. You know, it's just gonna be just I Am Groot, and then that's the show. So it's literally just like 5 seconds. I Am Groot. Credits roll. No. Some interesting tidbits. He did at least confirm that Black Panther 2 will not recast, and that the late Chadwick Boseman, R.I.P. The film will be directed by Ryan Coogler and is still set for July 2022. So I think the biggest likelihood of this is that it's probably going to be Shuri, who's probably going to take the mantle of Black Panther, or I forgot. I think she's her own unique character in the movies. Freaking a third Ant-Man film, Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, was confirmed to be in development. And Peyton Reed will direct. Paul Rudd will be returning. Evangeline Lilly, I believe, as the Wasp. Michael Douglas as the original Ant-Man, and Michelle Pfeiffer as the original Wasp. Um, and then I guess they're gonna have Kang the Conqueror as the villain. Supposedly one of the Marvel's biggest villains. I'm not familiar with Kang the Conqueror. I'm gonna look this up real quick. Kang the Conqueror. Trying to remember. No. Oh yeah, Jonathan Majors is supposedly gonna be Kang the Conqueror as well. So interesting, interesting stuff. Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness is supposedly going to tie in both the upcoming WandaVision and Sony and Marvel's third Spider-Man movie. So I think we knew about the Spider-Man movie, and I forgot about that. The freaking Spider-Man movie. They freaking announced that, or at least it was reported by the news outlets, is that freaking who Alfred Molina, who I believe was the Octopus Doc Ock from the original Spider-Man films, as well as Tobey Maguire, who's the original Spider-Man in the movies back in 2000s, I believe. Then from the reboot of Spider-Man before the current Spider-Man iteration, I forgot the Andrew Garfield, I think, will be in a movie, as well as Gwen Stacy. I forgot her name, the girl that played Gwen Stacy. I instantly have a picture in my head of Andrew Garfield trying to save Gwen, and then she just falls and hits her. Oh, that's horrible of me. But you know what? I'm just being transparent with y'all. Either way, so you have that, and then you have what is her name? Damn it, the girl with the red hair. Why am I drawing a blank at this? I am not a nerd at all. Just throw my nerd card away. What is her name? Mary Jane. Mary Jane. Yeah, I don't know why I drew a blank there, but either way, Mary Jane, the actor from the original Spider-Man movies with Tobey Maguire as well. She's supposedly gonna be making her return in this movie as well. And then you're gonna have Jamie Foxx as well as the Electro. So supposedly all those are gonna be, and then even freaking dropping more bombs that apparently what's his name, Daredevil from the Netflix TV series supposedly is gonna freaking be in this movie, as well as Peter's a lawyer, in terms of however they set that up. So it's pretty obvious that they're messing with the multiverse type of thing, and that they're gonna like really literally address the multiple Spider-Mans multiple Spider-Mans as separate universes in this movie, that's pretty crazy. Which I mean, based off that alone, I'm for sure so. But I mean, it's yet to see how all that's gonna play out and how they're gonna juggle all this, and then just how all that's gonna play out overall. So, but I mean, that's shaping up to be a pretty dope ass movie. If it delivers on those potential promises. Then you have Marvel Studios. They said they're making a new Fantastic Four movie. Oh, it's a lot. It's a lot. And Obi-Wan Kenobi, they said that freaking Hayden Christensen, who is the pre Darth Vader, is gonna be in this series as well as Ewan McGregor going to be in this. I think he was initially confirmed, but I think for sure confirmed at least now. So there's Star Wars: The Bad Batch, which apparently is clones from the Clone Wars. Is Lando from Star Wars gonna have his own a little event series? It's a lot. It's a lot, man. It's a lot. is too freaking Buzz Lightyear is freaking Buzz Lightyear is gonna have his own fucking. Man, so you could tell, man, they really trying to get these investors invested. Because I mean, if I was an investor, I'm like, hey, you take all my money, take all my money. So I at least viewed a couple of the Marvel movie trailer. I mean, the Marvel TV series trailers, like the Loki, Falcon Winter Soldier, WandaVision. They look like the caliber of a freaking legit movie. I don't think it's known if Christian Dunst, yeah, Mary Jane from with Tobey Maguire. Yep, you're right. I don't know if they confirmed that Donald Glover is going to be returning as Lando, but he would definitely be. He was very solid in that solo movie, so I think it would be very sound. Actually, let me look real quick, see if that's confirmed, because I'm not sure if. I would assume they would get him back somehow, especially since it's not a traditional TV series. It's just going to be some they name it or list it as a limited event. So who knows? Oh no, they actually do. They said the project's still in early stages of development. Lucasfilm has yet to provide nearly any details on the project, including whether or not Billy D. Williams or Donald Glover, who have played the character in the live-action Star Wars installments, are attached to the project. So at least it's up in the air, but the possibility could be there that Donald would be returning to some extent, I would assume. So yeah, it's pretty decent. It's a pretty good movie. I liked it, at least personally. So yeah, very Jesus. Let me tell you, Star Wars fans, Marvel fans, gonna be eating. You hear me? They gonna be eating. They gonna be eating. Eating. Just devouring. Man. If you either or fans, you in for a good time. I mean, man, it's I think let's just go into perspective real quick. It's just a great time to be a fan of a nerd, really, essentially. Whether it's a gamer, comic book, Star Wars, whatever, it's a good time right now. It really is. It really is. I think that should go without saying, but man, it's crazy. All of this within the same day. All this coming out. Jesus. My God, either way. So that's pretty much all the news for this week. Get on to what I've been playing. Boy, it's only one game, and that game is Yakuza Like a Dragon. I'm like 70 hours in, and man, it is good. It is good. I still wish it was a beat 'em up, but it's good. It's good. I feel like I'm close to beating it. But yeah. So man, it's just the plot is getting more interesting. There's some characters coming back that I'm like, oh shit. So yes, I am thoroughly enjoying Yakuza Like a Dragon. It is great. It is great. And yeah, so I guess to address Cyberpunk, I did get it when it dropped. I downloaded it. It's ready on Steam, but I was like, I'm so close to beating Yakuza. I was like, I feel like if I jump into Cyberpunk and don't finish Yakuza, I'm just gonna be out of touch from Yakuza, where it's just gonna be a pain to try to get back up to speed. So I'm like, you know what? Let me just push through and tough it out with Yakuza and beat it, and then start playing Cyberpunk. So at least that's my plan. So otherwise, you probably would have got some brief Cyberpunk impressions, but I unfortunately did not. But I do have it. Probably expect next week to get some impressions on that. But man, it's good, man. I mean, just I feel like I've talked about it before, but just the sub stories, the side stories are really good, charming, endearing, as well as the main story, which is very interesting, engaging, even thought provoking, even. But yeah, it's I am getting like in I feel like somewhat of a tough point where I feel like a lot of reviewers I've heard said that the game does have this weird difficulty curve, which at least I felt like I'm kind of running into, at least with this one boss fight that I don't want to spoil because it's very spoilery. But um, I at least for that, in preparation for that, I did actually they introduced a mini game where you're supposed to, it's essentially a means for leveling up pretty quickly, which I at least did one round and fully beat it. But I may potentially have to do it again. At least I was getting my ass whooped by this boss, and yeah, so just the fun of that. But I don't know. I feel like, I don't know, difficulty wise, I feel like I'm in this area where it's like it's possible, but it's just difficult. So I don't know. It's just a matter of trying to figure that out. But all in all, I'm loving it though. I'm still loving it. Don't get it wrong though. It's great. It's great. It really is. Yeah. So yeah. I don't know. It's good though. It's good. It really is. At least time wise. This is me playing everything, but um it was like I'm like 70 hours in, I think. And that's, I guess, including doing pretty much majority of the side stuff. At least especially the sub stories. So I thought it was gonna be way longer than that, like 100+ hours. So thank God it isn't. But I'm satisfied with it so far. So I've planned to beat it today. I'm pretty sure I'm close to beating it today, and then finally I can engulf myself, submerge myself even in the world, the environment that is cyberpunk. I wanna see my dick out. Like, I guess apparently there's this some news or on Twitter and stuff that, like, when you're editing your character, your dick just comes out. Just funny as hell to me, but can't wait for my dick to flop. If that's the thing, I don't know if that's a thing or not, but I'll find out if I am one of the lucky few whose dick pops out. I don't know. Boy, that just got weird. So moving on to what I've been watching. Mandalorian. Man. If you are a fan of Star Wars and the previous, especially the movies and stuff, boy, you are in for a treat with this previous episode that came out. I don't even want to spoil it. That's just how good it is. So I'm actually not, but it's really good. A really good episode. That kind of piggies back off of the previous episode to a greater degree. That it's just, if fan service was an episode, it would for sure be this one, because man, all I'm gonna say, keyword, redemption. There was a lot of redemption this episode for sure, hands down. Redemption. That's all I'm gonna say. Family Guy, I've actually been watching that a fair bit as well. I'm catching up on the episodes I missed out on. I mean, it's Family Guy. It's pretty much nothing much to tell outside of that. Then on a freaking whim, just on, like, you know what, I haven't seen this. I saw on Netflix, Batman: The Killing Joke. I have some feelings about this movie. Just as well as indifference, really, but to the point where I had to research, like, the main material, the base material of this movie. But it's been what, it came out in 2016. I think it's okay to get in somewhat semi spoiler territory with this one, but at least in terms of the plot of the movie, it starts off, which I think it feels essentially like a Batgirl movie, and then it goes into the Killing Joke comic, which I guess I kind of understand and don't understand at the same time in terms of context. But I guess they wanted to give you more impact on the movie when the pivotal moment happens in the comic that is translated to this movie. But it was just some weird stuff just to kind of like highlight over it, like, you know, there's there's the traditional, bad guy that you're trying to track down, and then Batgirl fucks Batman. So that didn't happen in the comics, so they just added that out of nowhere, I guess. So there's that. Batwoman just starts fucking Batman. So hey, there's that. It wasn't graphic or anything, so but I mean, it was like, all right, okay. I thought that was in the comic. I was like, oh, I guess this is in the comic. But then after research, like, no, it's not. Oh, okay, all right, okay. So that was weird. It just seemed very out of place. At least not knowing that after the fact or even before knowing that. But I mean, I say all sex scenes in a movie where you're not expecting it, I think always generally are kind of out of place, unless it's like a lot of build up where you're hoping they fuck really. But at least in this one, this was like it's like okay, I guess, all right. That's the best way to describe it. So it was like the first half of that, and then Batgirl, like because because you fucked Batman, you knew what was gonna happen. Now she feels some type of way, and now she's like, you know what, I'm done being Batgirl, and then she gives Batman her bat clothed in this clothes. She's fully clothed this time, but that was a weird thing too. They were fucking on the top of a building, and then the weird creepy. There's like a gargoyle statue looking over them fucking. It was like, what? Okay, all right, all right. That was my all right. I literally said that. I'm all right. But I digress. And then the next segment or act, it basically seems like the Killing Joke, which was the original comic, which I never read, outside of just watching this movie. Apparently, I guess at least doing some research on it, it came out in the 80s, 88, I think, 1988, I want to say. But at least seeing it on the screen, it was good for the most part. It just got iffy, cuz I mean, just to spoil it at this point, like Batgirl aka Barbara, I guess she was in her apartment, just to highlight some of the aspects. So and before I go into that, Joker got out of the asylum, which I guess this is just a cycle where he basically gets locked in the asylum, figures out to get out, and then Batman has to find him and bring him back in, and then the cycle seems to always repeat. Not knowing the Batman comics and in general story as much, but that seems to be the general gist. So he got out, and now he's causing havoc, and then I guess he has this vendetta about trying to drive people into madness, and then he freaking shoots Barbara in the pivotal moment where she's paralyzed, and then it gets into weird territory where apparently it seems like it's like at least suggested or implied that potentially the Joker raped her. It's not like for sure concrete evidence, but at least for sure on the animated movie, it seems to be very implied that she potentially was raped. But then again, that's a whole weird gray area. I don't know if this is, but at least for sure the movie, it seems that way. And then with the photos, it's like you at least for sure undressed her while she was bleeding out and freaking paralyzed, but whatever. I mean, that's a whole other thing. But then the story gets into a weird area where they get Commissioner Gordon and they undress him and they try to break him and make him go insane, but that doesn't work. They show his daughter in front of him like bleeding out naked, and that's pretty hard and tough. But then after all that, he tells Batman when he's about to try to capture the Joker, Batman, do it by the books. Like, all right, I'm you of all people, you should want him killed for doing what he did to your daughter. But hey, that's justice either way. that's a whole nother thing. But they have a whole fight, and then towards the end, which is my biggest gripe with the movie, is that, and I guess it's the same for the comic, but they toward the end, when they know what's about to happen, the Joker says, he makes this joke. I'm trying to remember it. He's like, there's two crazy people in this asylum, and they both try to leave. They get to the rooftop to escape, and then there's a gap between the building to fully escape. And then the one makes it over fine, but then the other is scared and can't do it. Then the one guy offers, all right, hey, I'll just flash a light and then you can cross over. And then the other guy's like, no, you're not. You're just gonna flash a light on the beam and then take it away. So no, I'm not gonna do it, or something like that. And so, or no, I think the biggest part was like, what do you think, I'm crazy? I'm not gonna do that. And then essentially both of them, just even Batman for the first time, I think ever, like, just starts laughing like just out of control, and that's it. Credits roll after that. Just Batman touches just leans on Joker, and they just uncontrollably laugh. And I'm like, what? 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 So yeah, I mean, I get the implications. I understand the joke is like kind of a correlation between Batman and the Joker's relationship, in terms of obviously Joker being crazy and Batman being the same one, and I guess somewhat of a satire of their relationship, which I get that. But I was like, I guess that makes you just uncontrollably laugh out of all things. But I mean, so that's just my issue with the ending. I guess it just wasn't conclusive, I guess. It's just, it left a lot of room for interpretation, which, I mean, I get to one extent, and I guess apparently that's the same case with the comics itself. Not being a huge comic book like nerd, but yeah, I don't know. I'm just indifferent about that. Just after all that, especially, paralyzing Barbara, the girl you fucked and had relations with, and potentially Joker raped, and stripping Commissioner Gordon and embarrassing his ass, and then trying to drive him insane by showing his naked daughter in front of him and stuff like that. It's like, y'all just laugh after all that. It's just a joke after. Yeah, I don't. That's just my impressions on that. But either way, outside of that, it's a pretty good movie. I mean, it's thought provoking if anything, but And then, of course, Attack on Titan season, or my bad, the final season. They don't even give you any room for interpretation. It's the final season. It's a couple questions I had about it. I guess apparently, I guess that's the big revelation about this episode, is that the Titans are actually just another faction. They're fighting against the people who are enclosed in the walls, I guess, at least going from this episode. So I think, but I feel like I think they revealed that technically in the previous season to some extent. So I don't know. All in all, it was a pretty good episode though. But that was just the one aspect that I was like kind of curious about, and want to know more. But I assume they did that to fully dissect that in the following episodes. But all in all, Attack on Titan's back. Even though I know the second season was kind of weak, but season's back. So it's Attack on Titan. I'm gonna tell you, they had the cool techniques of people, that was another thing I was curious about. I guess the Beastmaster Titan, Beast Titan, can like morph people into Titans that aren't Titans, which that was a thing I was kind of unclear about, but I don't know. All in all, yeah, that's it was Attack on Titan, and that's pretty much all I would have been up to since last episode, at least. So yeah. So outside of that, I think that'll conclude episode 84 of Switches Sites. Yeah. If you do enjoy this podcast and like to support the show, feel free to like, rate, and subscribe on your favorite podcasting platforms. Any feedback is appreciated, good or bad. What else? You can follow me on Twitter at aswitch. You can also catch the show live on Twitch TV/aswitch. Ideally, in a perfect time, on Thursdays, roughly around 3 to 4 p.m. PST. But a lot of times lately it has not been happening, but I'll do my best to try to do that. Yeah, you can also catch the archive of this show on youtube.com/aswitch as well. Of course, I forgot the longest. Any questions you'd like to submit to the show, you can submit them at aswitchtv@gmail.com as well. Outside of that, hey, happy Cyberpunk week. And, Game Awards was great as well. So, there's that. But until next time, guys, don't touch people that don't want to be touched. Don't cough. Get your game on. Aw, yeah. Damn. Nobody's safe.